Hello and welcome to Debonair Production Sports. I'm your host, Nicole Hughes. Today we have a special guest, Mr. Virgil Hunter, who trains professional boxers. One of his main clients is middleweight champion Andre Ward. Welcome, Mr. Hunter.
Thank you, Nicole.
So glad to have you today. So I read that you're one of the hottest trainers in boxing. And not to mention, you were voted Trainer of the Year, I don't know, about a year and a half ago or something. How does that make you feel?
Well, it's humbling. You work hard in the sport and you get your accolades and things like that. And certainly you realize in sports you have peaks and valleys, highs and lows. So you better not get too comfortable with self-accolades.
Right.
But it's humbling. I'm grateful to the people and those who voted for me. But I couldn't do it without the fighters. So, a lot of credit goes to them too.
That's right. It's very much of an honor. So tell me, how long have you been training?
Oh, it's close, probably right at 30 years now.
Wow,
yeah,
30
quite
years.
a while.
You started off boxing. Tell me about the transition. You were boxing for several years and then you ended. Why did you stop boxing?
Well, boxing was just one of the many sports that I participated in. I was a college basketball player, I also was a baseball player. So boxing was a given through my family, my father, my grandfather, and my uncles. It was just something that we did as a family, pretty much all the males. And my interest started as a child, 7 years old. I can remember being with all my uncles and grandfathers watching Friday night fights and things like that. And of course, with a lot of cousins and second cousins and people in the neighborhood, you had to put the gloves on all the time. So then that goes into higher levels of competition. So it was just one of the main things, many things that I did. But it was, as far as coaching, it was my favorite.
Right. So tell me how you became a trainer. How did you get into it?
Indirectly, working for the probation department. Started feeling sorry for young kids going to prison, and trying to give them some sort of way and means to protect themselves.
Right.
And then I like to teach, so it started there, and it just carried over. Yeah,
and you worked with juvenile kids for several years, and then you retired. Tell me about tell me about your transition. What inspired that transition?
Well, it was way more than several years. It was
several.
Yeah, it was like 30 years.
Yeah, 30
okay.
years working with kids.
And
you retired.
I retired from the Alameda County Probation Department in 2006. It was time to retire. I'd done my time and put everything on the books. So it was a good time to retire, being that boxing was available to me and it enabled me to put all my time and effort into what I truly love. So not too many of us get to do what we truly love in life, and have all the avenues open to you to do it. I'm fortunate to have that. So it was time to put the energy into myself, which I did. Right,
that's great. Do you have any regrets?
Such as?
I mean, you were working with these children for so long, and now you're focused on training. Do you have any regrets of retiring from working with the children?
Well, the scripture says there's a time and a season for everything, and my season working with kids who are incarcerated is over.
Yeah.
But as far as working with young men, it's still going on.
Right.
So the vehicle just happens to be boxing.
Right, that's right.
So that never stopped. It just went into a different avenue and arena, so to speak. So,
right.
But as far as working with incarcerated kids, that's over with.
Yeah. And tell me what makes a good trainer.
You have to be observant. You have to recognize talent. But I think more than anything, you have to be in tune to character. You have to be in tune to dispositions and temperament, because without that, it won't be success anyway.
Right.
So you have to definitely be in tune to those, and you have to be willing to suffer. You have to be able to suffer through the tough times and the rough times, and you have to be able to hold up, because when they see you hold up, they follow in those footsteps, so to speak, and they begin to hold up too.
That's right. That's good. So what are the steps that one needs to take to become a boxer?
Well, it's probably the only sport in the world that you don't go recruiting athletes. Boxers find you.
Yeah.
Because a man wasn't made to hit another man and then let another man hit him. So it has to be in their blood, so to speak. It's just a different type of athlete that wants to box.
Right.
So they usually find you for whatever reason. And it's not just a poor man's sport or ghetto sport. It's a sport for everybody. It just depends on the man. Usually a person who likes to compete but might not be really in tune to team sports. They they gravitate towards individual sports, such as even with tennis or a sprinter or some of the sports that call for the athlete to depend on himself. Same thing in boxing. So they have a different temperament. They cut out different for sure, but they find you. You don't find them.
Right. Now I was reading something online, and I don't know if you'll remember this, but it said that one day, mostly by accident, his calling was answered. Does that ring a bell to you? Are you able to elaborate on what that means by one day by accident your calling was answered?
Did I make that statement?
It was in quotations.
From me or someone else?
No, it was from someone else. So I'm just wondering.
Well, you know what? There's so many quotations from other people.
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with it.
You're not familiar with that?
I'd have to really be refreshed.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say it's not relevant. But,
Yeah.
But
it was probably a while ago.
Could have been.
You just need to refresh your memory.
Yeah.
It's okay, no problem. So tell me about some of the challenges that you deal with just being a trainer in general.
Well, you're sending young men off to war, and you're sending them in danger. You're in a sport where, they can get killed. And it's very important to really, understand what you're into and what you're up against. And you have to continue to learn this sport every day. You have to put your time in every day. You can't never sit down on the sport. And you have to be aware of what's out there, from the competition to the business end of it. So it covers the whole spectrum. So you have to be pretty well rounded, because you're the closest thing that they have when they step in the ring.
Right.
So you want to make sure that you're worthy of that.
It depends on you.
A lot depends on the coach, yes.
So tell me how you keep your fighters focused.
Just kick them. You know
Shove
what?
them around a little bit.
I'm blessed to have great fighters here. So they've learned focus a long time ago. They wouldn't even be here where they are today if they hadn't had focus. So that's the last thing. Now they're professionals, so they know the procedure and getting ready, and they know it's up to me to implement different plans and strategies for them to win a fight, and also to be able to troubleshoot some of the deficiencies that they might have to make them better. So it's a daily job, and you give it daily thought, and it consumes quite a bit of your time. But again, I could be off doing something else instead of what I love.
Right. So health and fitness is obviously important to you, being a trainer, and to your boxers as well. How do you make sure that they're, besides they're working out, how do you make sure they're eating properly, or do you, are you like over that? Do you just kind of let them deal with what they're supposed to eat, or do you control what they eat, or tell them what they're supposed to eat to keep their bodies in shape? Well,
by them being professionals, I don't control what they eat, but I definitely suggest to them what they should eat. And I mean, you're talking about Olympian athletes here, and world-class athletes, ranked in the world. So they know the ABCs of being successful in their sport, and they know that diet and nutrition and all these things are a part of it. So with the exception of maybe some of the new things that come around, that come every year, that show up every year, some of the new nutritional supplements maybe they might have, or different strategies, physical fitness strategies and everything, which I stay abreast of. Things are constantly changing and evolving. They're pretty much on cue with it.
Okay. Well, we need to close here, but I just wanted to mention you've been working with Andre since he was young. just real quick, how would you say he's improved over the years?
Well, his dedication has taken him to the pinnacle of the sport. His desire, his determination to win, his will to win, and putting in his time, putting in his work, practicing, being dedicated to his craft. That's what's improved him over the years. So, and improved all these young men. So,
Great.
we're fortunate.
Great. Thank you so much. Thank you so
You're
much
welcome.
for your time. I'm Nicole Hughes with Debonair Production Sports, and we'll see you next time.